Hi guys, I'm back. It's been a while since my last video. I was out gallivanting in Southeast Asia, which ended with me losing my phone in the seas of Bali. But now I'm back. Um, Today I'm going to walk you guys through one of the paintings which I made during the 100-day challenge and talk a little bit about what and why I do the 100-day challenge. I think a lot of people are aware of the 75 hard challenge, where you essentially commit to a range of rules ranging from diet to workout to reading and a bunch of other things. The first time I came across this challenge, I was gobsmacked. I honestly felt super exhausted and I was just reading through it. It also sounds like a great bore, to be honest. I mean, 75 days of nonfiction. As a die-hard fiction lover and defender, I think that was my biggest issue with the challenge. Also, imposing so many tough rules at the same time is a recipe for failure, in my opinion. So, in all wisdom, I actually turned the challenge on its head and made it into something that would not just bring in discipline but a dollop of joy into my life. I recently completed not one but two simultaneous 100-day challenges. These challenges spanned my two loves of art and languages. I like to call it the Easy 100. My idea of this challenge is very simple: to do something that I enjoy or would like to develop as a skill for 100 consecutive days, even if it is for 5 minutes daily. Usually, towards the end of the year, given that it is a time to meet family and friends and travel a lot, I end up slacking. I'm not being harsh on myself here, but during the year end, spending time enjoying myself seems more important than harnessing any skill or getting any better at life. So, inevitably, at the start of the year, I pick up the neglected art and languages and renew my efforts. I usually do this through these easy 100 challenges. In my earlier year, I used to stagger them out since between work and traffic, I did not have the time to indulge in all of my interests simultaneously. While you would think that this would create an issue of consistency gaps and mismatch in productivity and focus and final output, it was quite the contrary. The system actually helped me include art and languages into my daily routine in a seamless way, so that even in the absence of the easy 100, I was able to find my way back to these two interests of mine. This time, however, since I had time on hand, I had the luxury of pursuing both of these simultaneously. I was traveling in January this year, so grateful to be able to visit cold places for a change, and started the 100-day challenge on a random Thursday in February. The idea was simple: practice my art and languages, in this case Korean and Japanese, for 100 consecutive days, develop not just the discipline of creating and learning, but also to bring back the joy of creating and learning. I think a lot of people have the opinion that the moment you involve discipline into things that you enjoy doing, you lose the fun of doing them. But discipline is not the thief of joy. At least I think so. On the contrary, discipline is something that can enable you to progress and thereby see results of, which is ultimately a gratifying feeling against the backdrop of the effort you've put into cultivating your craft. This year, during my 100 days of practice for art, I decided to work on people, essentially portraits, anatomy, and sometimes an abstraction of them. During the Easy 100, one of the key things that I allow myself to do, and sometimes which has immensely helped me grow as an artist, is to experiment. I experimented with form, with media, with styles, and anything else that I could think of. This year, I sketched portraits with pencil using the Loomis method and then incorporated that learning into my already existing style of ink scribbles. I experimented with shadows using Copic markers while also discovering a new style with the Posca markers, which led me to create the spirals collection, which I have talked about in another video. I tried painting portraits more freely with oil paints, maybe sometimes not so successfully, and tried out oil pastels, which was definitely not successful the first time, and I struggled with immensely. I think the key thing during the 100-day challenge is not just to discover things that you're capable of, but also to allow yourself the grace to make mistakes and have fun along the way. My 100-day challenge for languages was admittedly a bit tougher, as it maybe required a greater deal of mental hard work compared to painting, where I often get into a flow state. I will talk about the flow state maybe in another video, but however, this video is focused on the 100-day challenges. In the end, it was definitely rewarding though. In Japanese, I saw myself starting to not just recognize kanji in text, but also recall and write them. Write short diary entries and have basic conversations. Admittedly, the beginner learning curve is steep. Often, the steepness comes from the lack of consistent study. In Korean, while I am not a beginner anymore, advances in proficiency are always still much appreciated. I saw myself holding longer conversations with my teacher, writing longer diary entries, understanding a lot more of what is being spoken while watching Korean content, and sometimes even starting to think in Korean. Contemplating on these at the end of the 100 days truly gave me an immense sense of accomplishment, of not just having the discipline but also improving on my desired skills. I think at some level it was also this consistency of the 100-day challenge which sustained me through a gap during my travel, wherein when I came back, I found that I had not forgotten as much as I thought I would. As I mentioned at the start of the post, just hearing 75 hard can be daunting and can often put you in the mindset that it might be too hard to complete, and you might end up relying too much on your own motivation to complete it. Which is why instead I propose the easy 100, which is just one skill of your choice that you want to improve on. The idea is also fairly simple. Instead of having to follow a bunch of rules, there is just one rule, that is, you work on your choice of skill consistently over 100 days. Even 5 minutes a day is okay. The idea is not to have a grand finale of a goal, but rather to develop the systems that will keep bringing you back daily to learning or creating or literally anything else that you want to do. This also leads to a lifetime of enjoying that activity versus the eventual drop that may come about when a particular goal is achieved or when you reach a particular stage that you have been aiming for, as is the case with often goal defined challenges. The great part about the 100-day challenge, or the easy 100 as I call it, is also the ease with which you can stagger them. Upon completion of one easy 100 challenge, you already have the system in place for that interest. Thereby, you now have the scope to stagger another interest of yours and do another easy 100 challenge focused on your second interest. This is what I often use, in fact, uh, earlier, and since the focus here is systems and not goals, it seems seamlessly flows into each other and ultimately into your day to day life. So, which 100-day challenge are you taking up today? This is one of the paintings that I did during the 100-day challenge this year for art, or the easy 100 as I like to call it. And since my focus this year was portraits, I was essentially experimenting with different media, different surfaces to find out what I like and what likes me back. Here, I have essentially inaugurated a new sketchbook which I am using as a painting book, I would like to say, and not just a pencil sketch for that matter. Or what I had done here is first I coated the page with gesso before starting the oil painting here to avoid leakage to the next page, essentially. And what I wanted to capture here was a lady in the water. I don't know if you can tell so much from the stills of painting process that I've captured in the video. But the final painting is there at the end of the video, so if you guys would stick around, you can see the final painting. Essentially, I wanted to capture a lot of the layers of water that you would typically see on someone who is partially submerged. I wanted to capture some of the shadows that you would also typically see when a person is floating around in water, which is why you will see some of these black and white strokes. And trust me that it does become a lot clearer once you step away from the painting and see how it works and comes together. I had a bit of fun in this painting actually, because essentially I was trying to create a lot of shadows, even in terms of the skin, etc. I was trying to create a lot of shadows as well as the jewelry that the lady is wearing. So have had a bit of fun. Of course, it's been built up layer by layer by layer, and the final output, while maybe not perfect, was something that I was really happy that I made that. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about the Easy 100. And I hope that you get to do an Easy 100 challenge this year as well. Hope to see you again for the next video. Bye for now.